I think there are a few different reasons. And the first reason is, and this goes back to my story, the first reason is that it answers our questions. So we get our own questions about things. Obviously, we aren't born knowing everything about Christianity. So we have questions. We read something, it doesn't look like it makes sense, or we're not sure it's true. So first and foremost, it answers our own questions and it gives us confidence. Confidence and is so important for endurance. So we're facing a lot of things as Christians and a lot of opposition. So the more confidence we can have that what we think is true, the easier it will be for us to stand firm and to continue to do the things that God's called us to do. It's also really important when we go through a difficult time emotionally, because we start to doubt, like if we're suffering, we start to doubt that maybe God is real. All these things, when we have an intellectual foundation for how we know with our minds that Christianity is true, then when the emotional doubts come and the suffering comes, we can depend on that. We can go over that in our minds and assure ourselves that we're doing the right thing. So that's the first thing. The second reason why it's important is that it helps us to answer the questions of others when we're seeking to make disciples. And this goes for either evangelism, when you're talking to people who aren't Christians, or people who are Christians. If you're discipling someone and you're trying to help them to know God better, if you can answer their questions, that's really helpful to them. Thirdly, by engaging in apologetics, we honor God with the truth by speaking that truth before others. Regardless of whether or not anyone ever is convinced by what you say, when you are speaking the truth about God, that in itself is honoring to Him. And He wants us to proclaim Him. He wants us to proclaim the truth. So when we're doing that, that is a good in itself, even if we never convince anybody else to change their minds. And then finally, what I found is that with apologetics, especially if I'm looking at other religions or other ideas and I'm evaluating them, it really helps me to see and appreciate God much more clearly. So this happens to me especially. One topic I really enjoy thinking about and writing about, talking about, is Mormonism. And as I'm reading their work, when I see who their God is, because sometimes we forget that other people have different views and we start to take things for granted.
Right.
But when I look at their theology and their system, it helps me to see so much more clearly the beauty of God, of the true God and His grace. And that just makes me worship. So it also helps us to see and appreciate God more clearly. And all those reasons, I mean, ultimately our whole goal as Christians is to know God and to love Him and to be in relationship with Him. So thinking about Him accurately and clearly and helping others to think about Him accurately and clearly is a huge part of being a Christian, and apologetics can play a good part in this.